floor this morning, God gave me the word, come before the storm. And I went in the office and I was just sitting there and I looked it up and I said, calm before the storm. What is the definition of calm before the storm? And I'm like, that's a phrase, so there shouldn't be a definition for it. And I looked it up and there actually is a definition for calm before the storm. And I was like, oh man, okay. And the definition of calm before the storm was, what is a calm before the storm? A quiet and peaceful period before a period during which there is great activity, argument, or difficulty. The Hebrew word for storm is kah or shar. It means hurricane, storm, tempest, or whirlwind. And I was looking, and I was like, God, give me a verse. And you know, the easiest one that He gave me was, you know, Matthew 8:23 and through 27. Matthew 8:23 through 27 talks about the period in which Jesus said, "Let us go over to the other side," and they got into the boat. And when He had laid rest, and they were going from one side of the sea to the other side of the sea, things seemed to be all right as they started out. But in the midst of it, things started to get a little rough. The storm started to get a little hard for them to handle. And in Matthew, it only talks, and it just gives a little bit about how their fear allowed them and messed them up so bad that they had to go and get Jesus up and wake him up, because, you know, he's just relaxing. And sometimes we get into a situation where we relax, which is fine to relax in the midst of our storms. But sometimes God wants us to get in the midst of a storm and get some activity about ourselves. Mark comes back and says it in a different way. He actually says Jesus came out and said, "Peace be still," talking to our hearts, telling our hearts to be at peace, and telling the situation, which was the storm, to be still. And they marveled at the fact that this man was doing this thing. How can he do this? How can he talk to the waters? How can he talk to the situations and tell them to be still, to peace be still? And the more I read and the more I thought about it, it's like God keeps giving us. He gives us the same types of power. He gives us the same types of authority over our own situations. See, we allow ourselves to get in the midst of stuff, and we forget how to come out of it. God says it's always been that power possessed in your hands. But until you start to understand that comes before the storm. See, we looking for the calm. We're looking for the calm, and we don't mind walking in the calm. But what happens when the storm comes? The storms of life that rage through our life. And I was just sitting there because, like I said, that's the easiest verse that we can go with. But then it took me to Revelation. Revelation, the 8th chapter. Revelation 8th chapter through the 10th chapter. And I'm not going to read all of Revelation 10 and all that stuff, 8 through 10, because we're gonna go over that and chop it up. God told me that was our next topic, to go over and chop it up, because in Revelation, the 8th chapter, it starts to talk about the 7 trumpets. And if you know anything about the Bible and the situations where things came up and things arise, the trumpet was always played in the midst to give instructions, to give order. That was the language in which they walked by and they stood by at that time. Even in the midst of them during the Exodus period, in the midst of the Exodus period when they came out of bondage, the trumpet would play to let them know which way to go. The trumpet would play to let them when to go, and it had a distinctive sound to tell them when to stop, when to turn, because it was so many people, it couldn't just be said by words. They didn't have microphones. They didn't have big speakers. They had the trumpet. And the trumpet would play whenever they had to make certain things. But in the 8th chapter, in the 8th chapter of Revelation, the trumpets come in the form of warning. In the first verse it says, and when he had opened up his 7 seals, there was silence in heaven about the space of a half an hour. Calm comes before the storm. It said there was silence in heaven about the space of a half an hour. And I saw 7 angels which stood before God. And to them were 7 trumpets. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incense which came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hands. And the angel took the censer and filled it with fire of the altar and cast it into the earth. And there were voices of thunderings and lightning and earthquake. And the 7 angels which had the 7 trumpets prepared themselves to sound. And we're going to stop right there. Because what is happening here is the tribulation period is about to come about. The judgment period is about to come about. And we're sitting here and all the prayers of the saints that have gone up are cast into this censer. And this angel has all them prayers. So don't ever think that even if you're out of sin or in sin, that God don't listen to your prayers. Even when you're out in sin, God hears your prayers. He might not answer them. But he still hears your prayers. Calm comes before the storm. We sit here, and in in verse 8, the first angel blew his trumpet, and there followed hail and fire mixed with blood. These were thrown upon the earth, and a third of the earth was burnt up, and a third of the trees were burnt up, and all the grass was burnt up. Calm comes before the storm. And I don't think this is so deep. It's just a warning. It's just an opportunity for us to let you know that we have to get away from the the simple things in life that bother us so much, that keep us from really, really opening up our mind to God. We got to get away from the things that allow us, that we allow to take us and turn our eyesight from where God is leading us. If he tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered, why are we still walking in unordered steps? If he tells us that the steps of a good man are ordered, why are we not walking in our steps that he has ordered for us? If he tells us that the stripes, by his stripes we are healed, why are we not walking in the healing that God has given us? And healing don't just come because, you take an antibiotic and it clears up an infection that you have, or some kind of sickness that you have. Healing comes from the heart. It comes from the mind. He already took out the stony heart and put the heart in. But he wants us to get to the point that we actually walk with the new heart that we have. The calm comes before the storm. Because the second trumpet, it says the second angel blew his trumpet. And this was a great mountain. It was like a great mountain burning with fire, was thrown into the sea. And a third of the sea became blood. And a third of the living creatures of the sea died. And a third of the ships were destroyed. Revelation 8:8. See, all of these things that are starting to be destroyed, because we're allowing things of our life to be destroyed because we're not preparing ourselves for things that can happen, or the possibilities of things that can happen in this world. We're in a state now. We're in a state now that we just don't know. We don't know. There's no surety about what's going to go on in this world. None. But when we start losing our faith, see the way these two, Matthew 8 and Revelation 8, tie together, is God wants us to get our faith up. So when we're in the midst of our storms and we're worried about if we're going to drown, if we're going to die in the midst of our storms, he comes up and he says, peace, be still. Telling us to be still. Telling us to be at peace. Telling our situation to be still. Because when you're in the midst of calamity and it's messing with your mind to them, you cannot see your way out. You can't see to the next level. And if you can't see to the next level, it's like the blind leading the blind. Yes. And God said, I got so much more for you. But you're not trying to get to where I'm trying to get you at. We're still sitting in the same spot. I can't keep feeding you milk. I have to feed you meat. Because the meat is what's going to get you. That's what's going to get you through that. That's what's going to carry you. That's why these times come. Your faith has to be built. Because when the time of tribulation comes, if your faith ain't built when the time of tribulation comes, then you're going to fall. When things ain't going the way they're supposed to, you think they're supposed to go. And all you ever see is your fall, your fall. Then that's what you're going to live in, your fall. Now, I'm not going to read all the seals or all the trumpets, because it goes on and starts to talk about the one trumpet came and it talked about the plagues. The plagues of the water being changed, and it referred back to Pharaoh when Moses said, "Let my people go," and the plague came and it started talking about how the water was turned to blood and all that stuff. And it started, and then it goes on, different plagues and different all stuff. Like I said, we're going to talk about that because it's interesting, and I can't talk about it in the midst of a sermon. So we have to talk about it and chop it up. But eventually it gets to the point at the seventh trumpet. say, close the book. I'm not finna tell you what to expect. In other words, God wants us to be in the position to go seek it for ourselves. He wants us to be in a position to understand that not everything is just been finna be opened up to you. I'm not finna just give you everything just because you sit here on Sunday morning. Some things I want you to open up for yourself. That's the mysteries of the Word of God in itself. He can open up and give you the scripture that you see in the Bible. But until you start to dig down deep in there and see how this really applies to my life, see how this really ties together, see how, and understand, okay, you know, my faith has to be built because of this thing that's about to come up. My knowledge has to be built because of this thing that is coming up. If I can't take my word into my tribulation period, because there's going to be a time when we ain't going to be able to carry a Bible. But if we ain't got the word in our heart, in our mind, then all we doing, we're fighting a losing battle. And sometimes we get off on fighting a losing battle. I don't know why. Why do we get off on fighting a losing battle? When the word keeps telling us that victory is already yours. But we don't always fight the victory. We fight the battle that we're going to lose.
That's it.
God said, I already gave you victory.
Jesus.
But you put yourself in the position to lose. All he wanted the people to understand, all he wanted his disciples to understand, because if you read chapter 8 of Mark 18 on down, and you start at 18 verse, he started to talk about, he said, when the people had gathered, after he finished his sermon, he was there, and he said, let us go to the other side. And then there was a scribe that was there with him. He said, I want to go with you, but I gotta go take care of what I gotta take care of at my house. He said, birds got a nest to go to. Fish got a place to go. But the man of God had no place to lay his head. Then the disciple came and said, I'm going to go with you. But I got to go bury my father first. He came back and said, let the dead bury the living. In other words, if you're living this thing to have life, you got to let dead situations go.
That's right. Let it go.
You got to let dead friendships go.
Right.
You got to let dead problems go. Because the problem that you had yesterday ain't gonna do nothing for you today.
Amen.
The only thing we can do is just walk through it. He didn't say that this thing was going to be easy.
It's worth it.
But he did say it's going to be worth it. But what he was saying is there are consequences to being a child of God. People are not going to look at you the same way. They're not going to receive you the same way. Your life events are not going to happen the same way. When there's a calling on your life, the enemy desires to keep you from getting there. And he's going to pull at your heart as much as he possibly can. He's going to beat you at your mind as much as he possibly can. If he can just continue to beat into your mind everything that is unlike God, everything that is keeping you from really seeking God, seeking his face. See, we can seek God to an extent, but when you start to seek his face, and you start really putting your mind, look, God, take my whole mind, take my whole, stop lying and say, when we say, give my whole body a living sacrifice, and really be the sacrifice. Really be the sacrifice. I say, I've given the greatest sacrifice. I have given the greatest sacrifice. And he has atoned for the whole world. He has taken the sins of the whole world. But you'll keep allowing situations to come up in your life. You keep falling for the same sins over and over and over. I told you, I got you. What did you say?
Amen.
Because everybody ain't in the right position. Everybody ain't on the line like they're supposed to be. So if he going to the right, the whole line, and if anybody got on the left side of the line, they just the defense gonna pile up on this side. Because they know this is where the play is going.
Amen. This here my whole life. Thank you, Jesus. And we got a back player back here trying to call plays. Because he understands the game. So bring your play. Just out of your imagination. Come on, because it's very important.
Y'all's position. Come on, boy.
They already removed. What you talking about? All right, let's go. Let's go. Ready? All right, let's go. Let me see y'all ready.
On one. Ready. Set. Hut.
So everybody, thank you, baby. Everybody position is important. Yes, thank you. And when you call the play, it's important. Paying attention, it's important. Because you done taught me something. So whatever you say, you position yourself. Position yourself. Because whatever the play is, I'm downloading to y'all. Give me one thing to do. Then I have to go with it. But the play that you got to play is important. So position yourself. Thank you. As soon as I called your name, you came up. And one father said to a son, don't ask him. Tell him. So sometimes when you want us to ask you something, I'm being blessed. Because I actually see the play in the spirit. And you block what needs to be blocked. Because position yourselves likewise. Because the play went smooth when everybody is in position. And when you call the play right, go to the door